Welcome. This is Leading with Spirit, the show that gives you an in-depth look at topics like what it takes to navigate your spiritual journey, how to heal yourself and grow your spiritual gifts, and balanced practices to expand your business and your spiritual leadership. I'm your host, Spirit Bird, shamanic teacher, healer, and author, here to guide you on your journey to becoming your most potent spiritual leader. Have you ever wanted real connection with somebody and somehow it keeps eluding you, or you feel like you keep getting excluded time and time again? Have you ever experienced having some sort of like unnamed sadness or emotion that feels connected to something? Like it feels like it might be important, but you're not really sure what it is or where it comes from, and it keeps eluding you? Are you longing to know what it's like, what it's all about, what that unnamed emotion is really coming from? But you're afraid if you actually look at it and look at it head on, you might not find anything at all. Or maybe you'll find something horrible. Of the many things shamanic healing is about, authentic, real connection is one of them. Healing deep, often forgotten or hidden wounds is another. Recently in Shaman School, we were exploring the West archetype. This is part of the shamanic archetypes that I teach. And we were exploring the wounds, the gifts, and how to heal someone who is stuck in the wound of the West. The West, among many things, is all about sharing your truth and your authentic side with others. From this episode, you'll come away with a deeper understanding of how working in community through shared validation grows spiritual gifts and personal healing. You'll come away with a deeper understanding of the complexities involved in personal growth and self-expression, particularly within the context of forming meaningful connections and relationships with others and prioritizing self-expression without fear of judgment. You'll discover the breakthrough you are looking for in your personal and professional life doesn't come from acquiring new skills. It comes from vulnerability, and you'll understand how that works. On today's episode, you get a behind-the-scenes look inside Shaman School, where students at various levels learned new skills to guide healing journeys. If you're already working in the healing space, you know how important it is to continue your own personal healing and keep showing up more and more vulnerably. On today's episode, they'll actually be offering a healing session for their own teacher, me. Make sure you listen all the way through the second half where things really open up and we work through pieces around sadness, creating your own rules to create connection, and even childhood toys. Before we get started, a quick announcement. I am hosting a free half-day workshop, in-depth workshop, April 20th, introducing magic as fuck, instantly up-level your shamanic gifts and divine purpose. If you've done some inner work or spiritual exploration, but you feel still unfulfilled with life, or you know that there's more for you, for your spiritual gifts and divine purpose, you'll come away with a deep understanding and be able to describe the 3 different types of purpose that you need to know to have your own clarity and to manifest the life that you want. You'll come away with clarity on your own unique spiritual gifts and what they are. You'll learn what no one else teaches in shamanic healing that will allow you to truly stand out. And you'll also get a specific technique you can use with friends or clients to help them uncover their gifts. The link for that is in the show notes, or you can send us a DM at Holton Healing Arts and say Magic AF. And now, on with the show. It's okay. I'm going to challenge you to not apologize for yourself.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to try my best to just like be present and not drag y'all. Just do one job. Yeah. So let me feel related to this. Okay, so I do have something. I was just talking about this with my partner, Josh. Lately, I've had the last few months a handful of kind of friends slash colleagues that I really love and I really want to have more of a relationship with or a stronger relationship with. And I feel like the connection is there, but I feel like either I'm the one that's always reaching out, or like I feel like there's a distance. And I've actually talked to a few of them and learned that um, I'll talk about one specifically just because I think that'll be easier. One gal that I just love, I know we have a lot to teach each other on both sides. Like she has a lot to learn from me, I have a lot to learn from her, and I also just want to like play. And she went distant from me at one point, and she named it. She named that she felt basically like intimidated. Not like I was intentionally intimidating her, but she just felt intimidated by, like, if she were to meet me, from her words, if she were to meet me, the kind of the amount of like upgrade that might happen for her. And she was basically like, whoa, not ready for that. A little bit, I don't know if I would say overwhelmed, but she was just intimidated by it. And so I've kind of found myself in this position with a few folks. And I know some of it is not me, right? Like some of it is definitely them for their own concern or fear. And I think that I've come a long way with this. Like 10 years ago, if you met me, I still had probably a strong personality and strong opinions that I'd be happy to share with you, but I generally didn't put myself out there as much as I do now. And I feel like I've grown a lot in really just like owning who I am and my power and not hiding it to make other people comfortable. Um, but what I was talking about with Josh, we were just kind of talking about that a little bit, um, and we located that it feels like in general when I talk to people, especially around my work, that I'm fairly open and genuine and authentic and vulnerable. And but maybe there's like 10 or 20% of me that tends to lead with my successes instead of my challenges or failures. And so I'm not really sure exactly. My brain doesn't know what to do with it because while I've practiced being more open and vulnerable with like what I'm really going through, I find that sometimes I withhold information because I don't want it to look like, my business is bad or like my life is the shit, like it's holding these 2 points of like being very forward facing in public. And I don't want to pretend like nothing bad ever happens or I don't go through challenges, but I don't know. I still struggle with like when is a good time for that. And my question really is like, can I do that without like diminishing myself in the process, without being like, this is all bad. Like, what the fuck? You know? So I still want to be able to share myself openly and vulnerably. I'm okay with not looking perfect, but I also don't want it to look, yeah, like I'm a mess.
Well, let's take a deep breath, I guess. And it's going to take me a minute to get back into the groove. And we'll visualize you as a small person. And we can talk about how things.
I'm going
I'm
to
sorry.
pause just a second because I
Okay.
haven't quite even gotten my person.
Okay.
I'm moving slow today, apparently. Hold on, let me just drop it in here. Okay. So weird. I feel like I'm showing up with like two braids. I feel like I don't even know who this person is, but I got her, so I'm gonna go with it.
Two braids. And do you want to describe her to me?
Yeah, she's got, I don't really feel a lot from her. It feels somewhat youthful, maybe curious. Um, she's got these like two long braids and like overalls.
And about how old this girl? Does she feel younger or?
She feels younger.
About like 7 to 10-ish, or anything else that you notice about her?
I feel like she's flipping back and forth between, yeah, maybe like 10-ish and like 30.
Okay. And and how does she feel?
Hmm.
Does she look?
I feel like her face looks neutral when I'm feeling her. What do I feel? Actually, like curiosity and hesitancy. There's like a little hesitancy.
Hesitancy to get into the elevator, or hesitancy as to not sure as to what to do? And
I think just like hesitant in general, like
Mhm.
even just like little steps are sort of like feels like there's this little back and forth. Let me check in with the elevator. Hmm. Okay, so my elevator is kind of like roundish, almost like ovular. And there's glass on one side, and I see plants growing inside of it. And the other side's a little bit dark.
do you want to? Does that feel comfortable to you, or would you like to lighten it up a little bit?
I would like to lighten it up.
How would you like to do that?
Hmm.
Would you like the window aspect of it being open, or is there different types of light that you like?
Actually, the window being open sounds good.
And it's a higher, you feel comfortable with the area, the size of it?
Mm, yeah, yeah, I feel comfortable with it.
And explain the elevator a little bit more. What are you looking at?
Well, I just saw like a wooden bench show up, and my kitty cat is in here with me.
I'm sorry, your cat.
Yes.
Your cat now. And your cat's name is again? I'm sorry, I was coughing. I didn't hear you.
I didn't say her name. Her name is
Oh,
Cow.
my cat. Yeah. And do you feel comfortable with the light coming in? With Feel comfortable for both of you in the space? Are you warm enough and feel good and ready to go?
Yeah, yeah, I feel better. I feel like that other corner that was dark has a window in it now, and I can see the other side is glass too, and I feel comfortable in there. It still kind of wants to keep darkening, but I also feel like it's probably okay.
Should we add something else just to make sure, or just to put it in there in case we need it for later?
Yeah, I'm gonna put like a light underneath to shine up.
Like a bright, like movie star light, like a.
Yep, I guess so. Hmm.
And
Yeah, I'm gonna take just a second and maybe lighten up the space around the elevator too, because that's feeling pretty dark. And I'm noticing that I sort of just want to like go and get it over with, but I'll take a second to make the space nice first.
how's the floors as well?
Yeah. Hmm. I think just kind of dirt floors is what I'm seeing. I'm gonna bring some plants in around that as well. And I keep seeing this tree that's sort of hanging around up here. It's actually making me think about when I was little and would I used to climb trees a lot.
That's time to hand it off. So how is this elevator feeling to you right now?
At this point, I think it feels pretty good.
Okay. So are you ready to go drop down?
Sure. Where should I drop down to?
I was feeling the throat.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
How does it feel in this space?
A little constricted, maybe getting in my head a little bit, but I'm like seeing myself in the elevator, like in my throat. So it almost feels like there's like a pill stuck in my throat because the elevator feels like a little pill capsule. And I kind of want there to be more space. But like I'm seeing like the literalness of the throat.
Okay. Um, let's create some space in the throat then. What would make you feel better with the throat being more open?
Like I keep imagining that there's like more space and that there's like this like natural kind of like scene that I often experience through my other chakras. But I feel like it feels like that would be wrapping around the throat. And so now it feels like there's this like thing inside a thing inside a thing that I'm not really sure what to do with.
Like, I don't know why I'm seeing like sparkling light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that feels better. The sparkling light dissolved the like literal throat. So I feel like the space is more open now. And I see myself in the center inside of the elevator pill capsule.
What would benefit you right now with this next step? Kind of feel
It's interesting. When I stepped out of the elevator, I didn't see it before, but like I went down like 2 steps and now I feel like the floor is like got a little layer of water.
how does that feel to you?
It feels well, all is new. I've never experienced my throat chakra this way. I like it better than just the literal throat. Um, so it feels pretty comfortable actually for the most part. I don't know about the water. Like I like water. I don't know that I want my like to be like wading through water here.
Would you like to put it into a container, like a sacred container?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, what's coming to mind is I forgot what they're called, but those like cool earth pools that people have been making that look like the natural pool pond things. All right. Yeah, that's better.
And for some reason, I was seeing a key.
That's so funny when you said that. As soon as you said key, I didn't see it before, but I felt like chills come in through like my right ear and like in my throat. I've never felt that before. Okay, I see it.
I feel like there's a need to unlock something, if that makes sense to you.
It definitely makes sense. I don't know what.
How's your little avatar doing?
So what I was feeling into right before you asked that is I don't remember what it was, but I had this like memory pop in from I don't remember how old I was either, but I was a kid. Um, and it was back in the woods somewhere, and I remember carving something on the base of like a tree stump. I don't know if that means anything. It popped in my head. Um, I feel like my avatar is more like me, who I am now. And to be perfectly honest, in this moment, I like don't know what information might come up, but I can feel myself being like, oh God, I hope it's not something embarrassing. Just to name that.
Okay. I don't know why I'm thinking about chocolate or a box, if that makes any sense.
Let me just feel into that for a second. Well, I'll just list what's coming to mind because I don't have sense made of it, but mentioning the chocolate made me think of my aunt gave me and my cousins this shirt when we were kids that says, "Give me all your chocolate and nobody gets hurt." And I feel like I don't know if this is a memory or not, but I feel like I might have actually like buried a little box somewhere. I definitely I collected boxes when I was a kid, like cute little boxes. So those are the things that come to mind.
And it's time to hand it off again.
Are you still in the elevator right now or are you out?
I'm out. Interesting question. So I'm out of the elevator. My avatar is kind of beside-ish the elevator. But since you asked that question, I realized that my like thoughts or awareness are like flashing with memories, especially of like my room as a kid and the window to like the woods where I grew up.
I kind of feel like I want to go back to the key.
Okay.
And I'm just curious what the significance of the key for you. Um,
Hmm. Um, when I so yeah, the key brings up sort of my youngish ish self. Like I feel like a lot of the themes that have been coming up from like 8 to 10. But I loved like I loved trinkets. I loved I don't even know how to describe it, sort of like whimsical things like it, I can't really see a key that I specifically had as a kid. I see a key right now for sure. And it's like this big gold, like kind of stereotypical key, like skeleton key sort of thing. So I would have loved shit like that. It probably like what also comes up for me in this moment is like would love to sort of lock my mom out. Like I couldn't do that as a kid, but I feel like there was like a place where I didn't ever get to have this like full privacy from her. Like she was sort of like allowed to know everything.
So do you sort of feel like you would have to protect that key, or that that key protects you?
Hmm. Well, I got shivers all over the top of my shoulders when you said that key protects me. So that feels true. And I think like this might be my mind a little bit too, but as I'm putting the story together, I could see myself really like wanting or like wishing or imagining that I could sort of like lock myself in isn't the right, it's like what I'm seeing, but it's not, I don't feel like that's the right words for what I want, what I wanted. But yeah, I could totally see myself sort of being like, okay, here's this part of me is locked and you don't get to get in, mom.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. And so now I'm experiencing that box in the back left corner of the space.
And what does that box look like?
It's showing up for me as kind of like a greenish color. It's got some like kind of ornamental design on it. It's like big. It's like as tall as my shoulders, maybe.
Does it have a lock on it?
The way I'm seeing it actually is there's like a latch. There's a latch that can open, but then there's like below the latch is like the secret hole. It's almost like one of those false bottoms on the box. God, this is wild. Yeah, so it's like it looks like it opens, but it doesn't without knowing the secret key.
Do you feel like opening it?
Yeah, yeah, I do. So when I look inside, what I see and feel is sort of this like vastness. It's like bottomless. It's like dark, but not in a bad way. Like mysterious, but cozy in a way. It feels good to me.
It feels true, more authentic.
Yeah, I'm noticing that it feels good. It feels good to like look at it and feel it. It feels, yeah, it feels true and authentic. And I have this little tiny part of me that's like, I don't want mom to see it. I don't want her to take it from me. And specifically also like my work, like my worry at this moment for me as an adult is like that she would like sort of via me claim something about herself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It just kind of keeps bringing me back to why you're here. And your friend kind of being intimidated by you. And what that feeling that it may bring up.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, like I feel excluded. Like excluded by like a group that I want to be included with.
Is there any way that you can bring that light in into that spotlight kind of light?
Play with a couple of things. It feels like the first thing that popped in was like to do one of those like under like those floor spotlights. But like from above, I feel like it gets like lost in the void almost. And so from underneath, it seems like that would feel good, but I don't really know where the bottom is.
Can you try and move around a little bit and like step in the box and walk around or put your hands in it or
Yeah, let me just feel that for a minute or play there. Okay, so I've got kind of like a sandy bottom now, or floor, or base, or whatever.
does it feel comfortable, the sand? Or
I don't know. It's like, it does kind of feel good to know where the bottom is. I don't know that I actually want to make it light in here. Like, I like this sort of like vast, dark mystery. So I think that's where some of my resistance is.
And it's time to hand it off again.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'm just playing here, so I'm going to go with feelings.
Great.
Can you still see the elevator?
Yes.
I'd like to actually try to take you lower to your heart space.
Okay.
But are you able to shrink that box and take the box and the key with you?
Yes, totally.
Okay, let's try that. So I'm just going to share feelings that I've had. So since the beginning, since Gina was talking, I just felt like a extremely scratchy throat. And almost like this pressure on my heart, like if somebody had their hand cupped over my heart and just pressing down on it. So I'd like to try to take you to your heart space
Okay.
and see if we can get you there.
Okay. Just like the right now the back of like my shoulders and like the top part of my back is like all chills and shivers right now.
And I just have this, I just want to cry. I just keep tearing up. I just want to cry and I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's me or that's you, but if we can get you there. and I feel like this, like usually when I'm in class, I'll sit up straight. I get this slumping feeling.
Yeah,
Like a
I'm
slump.
totally totally slumping. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you think you might be there.
Yeah, I like I feel like there's a barrier between that and the top of the heart.
Can we hit like an elevator button and see if it'll ding past it, or a switch or something?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I feel like I'm there now.
Okay. When the doors open, what do you feel or see?
I feel some warm air, like kind of warm, almost like slightly damp or like humid.
Let's try stepping out of the elevator and taking the box and the key with you.
Okay. The scenery looks like a kind of like a cave.
Can you find a lantern and see if you can turn it on, give yourself some light and see if you can see around?
I actually really want to like light like a bunch of candles and candelabras.
Okay. That sounds soothing.
Okay. And now my avatar is what I started with earlier with like the girl with the braids.
Well, I don't know if your kitty's still there with you also, but if your kitty's there, can your kitty come and maybe take the box out of the elevator and see if, I know you said there might be like a secret hole at the bottom or a secret compartment, and see if that'll open if it didn't already.
Yeah, I forgot about my kitty. Thanks. I'm bringing her back. Mhm. So this time when I turned the lock, like the whole box just like opened, like became flat.
Do you feel like it should be flat, or is it something that you feel like you would try to like make it into a box again and try to open it again, or
Oh,
if that's
yeah.
just the way it's supposed to be?
No, I can try that. Yeah, I'll try that again. Uh, I'll I'll name what I'm scared of. Um, I'm scared that if I open it and I just see like sadness, that I won't know like where or what that sadness is from or like what's causing it.
And if you did find out what is causing it, do you think you might be able to maybe help yourself deal with the sadness?
Well,
Or
that sounds so reasonable. Hmm. Okay, I'm opening it again. And this time I'm like, when I look in, I actually see a reflection. Oh, and what's coming up for me right now is my brother. Um, like I just want to play and be included. And he had a tendency to include me by picking on me. And it both makes me sad that he was mean to me, and also makes me sad that like I feel like I don't know how to connect with him.
is it possible that he might have felt the same way and that picking on you was his way of connecting? But, I know from my kids, they always pick on each other, but when it comes down to it, nobody else can pick on them but themselves. They
Mm-hmm.
always protected themselves. I mean, protected each other from everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
Maybe you can ask him to play a game.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to. What's coming to mind is I want to play with like horses or My Little Ponies.
Those were my brother's favorite growing up. He collected those in glowworms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, my brother said okay.
Are you playing with the My Little Ponies? Are you prancing around or combing their hair? Or
uh, yeah, just like playing with them, having them prance around.
can you see anything else?
I just see it like it kind of looks like the basement at the house I grew up in. And the tiger?
That tiger. Is that your kitty transformed?
Oh, maybe.
I was like 5 seconds away from telling Tony he's got a couple minutes to wrap it up, and then you just bring a tiger into it.
Okay. We can forget the tiger.
I don't know.
Hmm.
And you say that, and I think of the tiger from He-Man. He was a cowardly tiger until he became the beast when it was time for, I don't know if you want to say war or whatever. When it was time, oh, his name was Battle Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I totally forgot about that. And me and my brother totally definitely we played with He-Man, and can't remember, but there was this pink horse. But I forgot about the Battle Cat.
Well, I guess I can hand it off to you now, Corey.
Now go for it.
Go for it.
You got 2 minutes to bring it to a close.
Oh, I don't know how to close. I didn't even know I knew how to do this.
Well, then you're doing great.
Is there anything you'd like to say to your brother before we go back?
Probably. Ooh. Shit. Yes. I'm just gonna blurt some things. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe how hard this is. Yeah, I want him to see me. I want to be able to play the way I like to play. Like I want to I want to play with him that way.
Not always his rules.
Yes, totally. And because I love him, but I want like him to come to me and to my brother right now. I want him to be able to talk about what I like to talk about, what we both like to talk about, without having to reference some expert on the subject. Like I just want to be able to talk to him. Okay. I hear you breathing, Corey.
No, I was just gonna say, Tony, so I guess normally to close someone out, we'd have them get back on the elevator.
So, can you
Head
find the
back up.
elevator?
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on one second. Yes, okay. And the elevator.
Okay, let's go ahead and go back up.
Okay, I'm back up. I'm just gonna let my avatar kind of dissolve back into my physical body. Well, damn.
I've never been so sweaty. My hands, my underarm, my eyes.
Yup. That's the energy moving. That's the medicine. Oh, y'all, that was really good. Okay. Give me just a second and I'll share a couple of things. So I am very grateful. I'm perpetually surprised, like this whole thing with my brother kind of being a bully when I was little is like very new to my awareness in the last year, that was like an actual kind of like wound. I went my whole life and couldn't see it. So I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm even just like in this moment, like, holy shit. Like I do feel like I've had this like kind of elusive sadness that hangs out, and I have actually never been able to pinpoint it. My mind never would have connected it to my brother. And I actually feel really great relief, without attachment, but like great relief that it's like, oh, that actually did make me sad. I'm also really fascinated with like how the different stories kind of like shifted, or like I thought when we got in there and my mom came up, like my mind went for it and was like, oh, this is definitely about mom trying to like invade and me like locking myself back away to try to protect myself from her. I had a nice mom, but you know, she just wanted to be involved. She wanted to know everything about her child. And I was like, no, you don't actually get this. So really fascinating that my mind was like, oh, this is what we're doing. We're going to like find where I locked myself away from my mom and then dissolve that so that I can be. So just really fascinating that that's where I thought it was connected. So I'm really grateful and excited to see like where it was actually rooted. So thank y'all so very much for this. So I'd love to hear from you. Questions from today or observations.
Just really quick, you guys had your eyes closed, but this is the battle cat that lives right next to my desk.
Shut up.
Love that. I was just thinking about this in relation to your friend and just wanting to be included in being yourself. In a sense, it excludes you, not because of you, but because of the, whatever situation the other person, I don't know, that just kept coming. And the key, what I kept thinking of with the key is like that's keys to you, to your kingdom, to yourself, that you have to guard them. That's just what kept coming to my mind with it. But good job.
Thank you so much.
It's a lot.
Thank you.
This actually exact same conversation came up this week about talking too much, talking too little to figure out who you really are. And it was like it's like a battle that had been going on for a while with me, because I talk all the time. I tell everybody everything when I'm an open book, but that gets people, sometimes in a different area as well. And then you don't know how to perceive. But I don't know, just for me, the coming to the conclusion or to keep thinking about it or whatever, it just seems like it's sometimes people aren't on that level of being able to have that energy and time as well, to put it all together. And that's kind of how I've been trying to work on it. I don't know how anything else has worked, but like I feel like some people, like their levels of being able to open and trust are totally different, right, in each aspect. And it's just being who you are, and because I just say don't change who you are because of just the constant negativity that you would receive by it, is kind of what me and my friends have like thrown out at each other throughout the whole time. Like, why would you have to, if you keep getting or feeling a certain way, why would you change yourself to blend into that, to if the time was there and the time was right, it should be, the flow should come without the feelings, which is just weird, because that was just like the whole conversation we had all this week when I started talking again. We were talking about, because things have gotten, because you can talk too much, or people get nervous about talking about real life things, or so it's that's interesting. But I understand it's like and I had the same type of brother as you. But good job, guys.
I was the brother.
You were the brother.
I'm the oldest of three. I am the brother.
My brother.
Yeah, same.
I love that. I love that. Well, I love all the connections that are here anyway. And yes, I want to come back to the excluded part, but like it's so beautiful to me, Tony, that you are holding, you know, the space with my brother, because I like, one, you have been him, so you have a perspective that I don't have, that you can share with me, that I can't get directly from him. And also that like flip side is like having to heal somebody else for something that maybe you've done in the past, you know, and being able to hold that space. So thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a vulture flying around in front of my window. But the piece around just the phrase being excluded because of them and not because of you feels really potent. You know, not that I'm going to go blame it on them or be like, you guys did this to me, but just having that understanding drop lower in my body, I think is really helpful. And I can totally see how I did, Gina, just to comment on your thought too, like how a lot of my initial personality patterns that I had as a kid and like into adulthood was very like South-esque, which my brother has a lot of South. And so, and I got like from my dad especially, and my brother, like got a lot of like praise for being like a daredevil and like being risk adverse and, you know, being so tough. And I've realized in the last few years that I am, and also like I like being girly and like having girly things, and that was like a part of me I definitely pushed away initially too. So really beautiful. Yeah. Any other thoughts or questions or comments?
I was just thinking.
I have a thought.
Oh yeah, Derek, and then we'll come
Or-
back to you, Tony. Go ahead, Derek.
Okay. So I'm interested to see where it plays into like the play by your rules rolls into your relationships that you want to make, are in a different universe of rules. And so that's what feels, or are they not ready to play by your rules? So I don't really know where that train of thought is going, but that's something that came up for me. Is I don't know why the rules stuck out to me, but that is a big part of play, is playing by your rules versus fitting into somebody else's scheme.
Yes, totally. Cool. Thank you for anchoring that point. Yeah, great.
Yeah, for me, it was just like, I feel like with reconnecting with your friends, it's almost like you just want to have a play date. Personas aside, what we are as a business or as an image or whatever, I just want to go and just jump in some puddles and play with My Little Ponies, or do something that has, with all that to the side, and just an enjoyment day. That's just kind of what I feel.
Yes, totally. I do want that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the other side of the rules, I think, is like not having the rules of like who's who and the business and the relationships and all of the boxes and stereotypes and roles. Yes. Great. Cool. All right. But everybody that practiced today, I find to be very West oriented. How did it feel practicing and being witnessed doing what you do?
I feel like I felt a lot more confident in myself than I have in the past,
Cool.
which is something like I'm coming back to my center, and I'm not being so worried about the outside and coming back to the inside. So this is it felt good.
Great. Awesome. Yay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling like it's possible, where a lot of times I was having self-doubt. And then when I was listening to the lesson yesterday and today, I was like, oh my God, this is talking about me. I think I'm West. I think I'm West. I'm always a people pleaser. I think I'm West. So I don't know. So we'll see. I haven't learned the other side yet. So I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff in there too. But
Yeah, totally. Cool. Thanks.
It was wild for me because I wasn't going to be, I was just going to be observing completely today. And it was wild because as you were going down, I was like, I felt like I had to, I stayed off camera for a while because I had to keep blowing out because I just felt like a huge pressure. And I think it was, I don't know if it was Tony who said it. I think Tony, you may have said it. What you were saying was what I was feeling because I felt this pressure. I mean, it was just like, and I was crying, and it's like, wow, this is crazy. But it was just a wild experience because I think I benefited through your healing as well. In a sense, because I don't know where that all came from. You know, it's like, this is crazy because I mean, the pressure, I mean, it was intense enough where I was like, I've heard of people like who've taken, like who've had bufo and like they vomit their trauma out. I was like, oh my God, am I going to throw up? It's like, and I didn't know where that was coming from. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow, that was just an experience that was going on in me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I was definitely crying. I really appreciate y'all holding me through, pointing me back towards feeling it. And like, that was quite advanced to hold me in the like, hey, but what does it feel like? What does it feel like again? Versus letting me go off onto a tangent. And because I think I've never really allowed myself to feel that sadness about my brother. I've always had an excuse or a story. Well, you know, that's siblings or life, or we're still friends though, you know, like always had some story to tell. So I didn't actually drop into like what I was actually feeling. So really powerful. All right, beautiful. Well, bring it to a close here, and I'll let you go on for your day. We'll be playing with this again next week. Thank y'all so much for being here, for showing up, for experimenting and bringing your magic forward, your medicine forward. I haven't been on the other side of this in a long time, so it's really fun to see from the other side how the pieces come together and what everybody brings. So go ahead and close your eyes one more time. And I want to thank the helping and compassionate spirits who joined us in our work here today. I want to thank your spirit, your soul, for showing up in this way today. And my prayer is that you get to bask in the vastness of your soul, sharing it how and when you want. And so it is. Have you been hearing the call to expand your spiritual gifts and step into your next level of conscious leadership? If you're a coach, healer, or a spiritual leader, you can learn more about Shaman School and growing your spiritual business on our website, holtonhealingarts.com, or send me a DM at Holton Healing Arts. Welcome to today's Q&A episode, where we explore questions about spiritual paths, intuitive gifts, growing a spiritual business, and shamanism. Do you have a question for us? Send us a DM at Holton Healing Arts. A potent question from a Shaman School student is, what is the difference between the underworld and the lower world? If you're not familiar with lower world, it's a term used in shamanism for when we do journey work. So the underworld in general, I think of as being a mythological place that exists between our middle world, our Earth 3D realm, and even the spiritual realm of our Earth and the 3D reality. So it's the layer that exists between that and between the lower world. Oftentimes, people will discover this place when they're working with lost souls, or psychopump work, when they're working with like ghosts, basically. So it's this layer that basically exists between these two realms, between the here and now in 3D, and basically like being clean and clear on the other side of that. It's often a place where you would do, lost souls will go. And literally, you might come across this when you're doing journey work in between the portal that you use to enter the lower world and actually arriving in the lower world. You might actually come across it. Lots of times people see it as like this hazy place. You might notice a smell. It's very much an in-between realm. The lower world, on the other hand, is the place where basically your like base, your like root in your chakra system and from your physical body meets with the earth. It's where that and like Gaia actually connect. When you go to the lower world, you are actually like beyond this 3D plane. You're more likely to be finding like ancestral work there. And you're going to be working with just compassionate spirits, and beings that are in that place have actually crossed all the way over. So those are the primary differences between the underworld and the lower world. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Leading with Spirit. If you did, please share the link for this episode with your biggest takeaway, tagging me at Holton Healing Arts. It would also support me if you subscribed and left a rating and review of the show so we can support more people living their highest purpose. Until next time, journey on.